Hi folks, welcome back to Casey's Book Corner. I have been AWOL for the last week, just relaxing, not putting too much pressure on myself to put out tons of content, planning my routine. That's what I have been doing. But that does mean I've got tons to catch you up on, and today I'm going to do my tier rating list, whatchamacallit, for the books that I read in September. So grab a chair, get comfy, get cosy, and let's get started. Okay, let's get straight into it, I suppose. Here is my Storygraph wrap-up graphic for the month. So, as you can see, I read 12 books in total, 2,340 whole entire pages, and 64 hours of audiobook. I did a lot of driving again last month, and I also have started to learn to crochet. So I will sit with my audiobook on, trying, and 9 times out of 10 failing, to count my stitches and make what is turning out to be really quite a wonky blanket. But anyway, that is a story for another day. Here we can see my first, middle and last books of the month. Quite a variety in there. Mainly fiction stories, but we had the one non-fiction in there too, and a bit of a range of genres, but you can see that, you know, I do tend to gravitate towards thriller, mystery, crime type things. Here's my little graph. The green is pages read, and the yellowy orangey type one is how many minutes I've listened to. So you can see the weekends I tend to read more pages, and then weekdays I tend to listen to more minutes. That kind of makes sense. But there you go. I quite like it. I love the little graphs on Storygraph. I'm really competitive with myself, so I like kind of seeing what all the numbers add up to every time. So there you go. Let's get on to the tier list now. Okay, so here is my tier listing. As you can see, it is blank. It's not been ranked yet. I will run through my little rating system. So we got the little love heart over here. I loved it. I will think about it forever. I will recommend everybody read it. The next one up is a thumbs up. Really liked it. It's a really solid book. Thoroughly enjoyable. I've then got the neutral face, which means no, nothing wrong with it. Just didn't totally go OTT on the expectations. We've got the thumbs down, which is pretty much what it says on the tin. I didn't particularly love it myself. And then we've got the never read this book, absolutely hated it. Doesn't mean that it's not right for somebody else, but just means that I personally either detested the book or couldn't even bring myself to finish it. I will, next to never, put something in that category. Every book has got a teeny tiny bit of a redeeming feature within it. So, let's get started. These books are not in any particular order, it's just the order that I downloaded the images in. So, The Black Book by James Patterson. James Patterson writes all the time. He releases like 5 books a year. He's out there all the time, and as a thriller lover, James Patterson is kind of the comfort author. He's the author that you can pick up. You know you're going to get a decent afternoon of a decent book. So, he goes into my It Was Fine section. The Black Book is good, slightly more action than thriller. I think thrillers tend to be a little bit creepier and a little bit darker. But yeah, it was reasonably enjoyable. Next up, Agatha Christie, and Then There Were None. I have never read any Agatha Christie books before, and I'm absolutely gutted because this book was spectacular. I listened to it in audiobook. It's like the epitome of a locked room mystery. Fantastic. Didn't know where it was going. Didn't know who done it. Genuinely loved it. There were tons of moments when I was literally like, oh my God, like how, I don't get it. I don't get how anyone can be so good at that. Spectacular. Hawthorne Legacy, which is book 2 in the Hawthorne series thingamabob. So I did like it. I liked it maybe a little bit more even than the other one. There was lots of intrigue, lots of mystery. It's a young adult type book, so it was quite cutesy. Teen angst was definitely something going on. Everyone's always thinking about boys and hormones and stuff, but I'll forgive it because it is a teen book and that's kind of the point. But so yes, that is in the like section. The Cut was the book that I finished the very, very end of September by Brookmyre. I absolutely adored this one too. It was really good on audiobook. One of the characters is Scottish, so the narrator had a Scottish accent for it, and the use of some really funny and only Scottish swear words was really quite funny. Words like pish and jobby. It's just so funny to hear it in an audiobook. The story was really, really great. It was really fast paced. I loved the friendship between the two main characters. There's like an older woman and a young teenage dude, and their friendship is just so sweet, and it got me in all the feels. It got me a little bit emotional towards the end, and it also gave a little extra twist that I wasn't expecting. Came out of the absolute blue. I thought everything was tied up in a little bow at this point, but it wasn't. Really enjoyed it. Definitely recommend. Oh, my recording software stopped working for a second there. Sorry, as we were. So the final 2 books in the Lord of the Rings trilogy I read, and I'm actually really starting to like them. The Two Towers I definitely enjoyed. It was my favourite of the trilogy. So, I've put them the wrong way around. Look at me go. So the Return of the King I've put in the it was fine, I'm really glad I read it section. Two Towers is right up there. I really enjoyed it. My overall thoughts of the series, I will be putting my review of The Return of the King out and giving you my overall thoughts. But yeah, I actually started to really enjoy it the further along we got. Phantom Limb by Lucinda Berry. I've put this in the meh section, not because it was bad, but because I thought it could have been a little tiny bit longer, and it was a little OTT, but it was definitely enjoyable. I consumed that in a day. So yes, it was good. Cryptic Pursuit was the ARC book that I received from Jayti Philpot, the author, and this is like a dark romance, really, really dark themes, really, really heavy on spice, but the story, like the police procedural stuff, was really, really engaging. I really enjoyed reading it, so that's in my thumbs up section. Hitler, Stalin, Mum and Dad is it's not quite a memoir because it is written by his parents were involved in, one of them was raised under Hitler's kind of regime during World War II, and the other one was raised through Stalin's regime at the same time. So he's telling his mum and dad's story. He's used letters that they sent, factual information, interviews that he's had with his family and with his parents. Really interesting, a little dry. We are talking about, historical times, and it was obviously a really awful time particularly for the author's mum and dad. So it wasn't exactly an entertaining or light-hearted read. It was really quite heavy, but I learned loads. I thought I knew a lot about that period of time in history. I absolutely didn't. The Stalin stuff and that kind of stuff really was interesting, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Next up was Kit Duffield's book Pretty Little Thing. It's a pretty cut and dry thriller, right? So it did not kind of change the narrative of what a thriller does or what a thriller looks like, but it was again really engaging, and I enjoyed reading it. Finished that one in a day as well. I listened to on audiobook The Tunnel Rats by Stephen Leather. I really loved it. That's going and getting fired straight into the Love Heart section. So, the Tunnel Rats is basically you're following some police detectives who are kind of investigating a death that happens on their patch, and they get embroiled in something that is much bigger than that, involving historical things that happened in Vietnam. So really interesting. I really enjoyed listening to it. The story came about really, really well. It was a really decent pace and really started culminating towards the end. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's quite a long listen, but definitely worth it. And finally, I listened to The Glitch, which is an audiobook original. So I believe that's the only place that is available to read. This is like a rom-com with a little bit of a time travel, kind of mystical, supernatural kind of element to it, where your main character kind of goes back in time 5 years and almost gets to do over her relationship with her ex. Really interesting, really heartwarming, a little bit of spice sprinkled in there, but it was a really good, cute story. And for someone who doesn't particularly gravitate towards romance, this was actually a really, really cute read. So I highly recommend it if you have Audible to give that one a go. It won't take one of your credits, it's a freebie. So yeah, I recommend it. And there you have it. No disliked books at all this month. That's the kind of month I like to have. Thoroughly enjoyed my reading month this month. It was great fun, and I'm already really excited about what October's going to bring. I haven't decided on everything I'm going to read yet because I am a complete mood reader, so anything goes really. But yeah, really enjoyable month overall. And there you have it, my month wrap up for September. Let me know if you have read any of these books. Also give me a shout and let me know what your favourite book of September was, because I'm always on the lookout for more things to add to my never-ending TBR. I am also on the lookout for you guys to help me find a horror book or two to read this October. So I don't read a lot of horror in general, so I don't have much horror on my TBR or on my bookshelf. So I'm kind of looking for something with a creepy kid, like The Omen really terrifies me. So a book with a creepy kid in it probably will also do the same job. Or like a haunted house. Haunted houses or creepy kids. Or a creepy kid in a haunted house would probably be just as effective. I want to be scared, I want to sleep with the lights on, and I'm looking for your help. So let me know in the comments your favourite book of September and any horror recommendations for me for October. I will be back in a couple of days' time. Give me a little like or a subscribe if you want to keep up to date with my content. That would be really appreciated. And I will speak to you really soon. Cheerio!